traditionally, women want to have a lot of kids, but nowadays, women are having less kids. There's less
Mm.
women having kids. Traditionally, the man will work and provide to the family, but now women are the one working and providing to the family.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of KBTalk. I'm Kevin,
And I'm Karen.
and today's episode is breaking the norm.
Ooh, yes.
It's going to be another spicy topic to talk about.
A bit controversial,
Yeah.
but fun.
You want to kick it off, babe?
Yeah, sure. For today's episode, like Kevin said, we're going to be talking about breaking the norms. And what we are going to be doing is just kind of sharing how we are different, not just as a couple, but as generations. And then just how we are defying just all the expectations from society by being who we are. So, a few things we're going to talk about is like career, education, we're gonna touch on house chores and all that fun stuff. We're even gonna talk about parenthood. So
Ooh,
yeah,
that's almost a repeat of last week, but a little bit different in our
yeah.
life.
So we're gonna first just kind of talk about expectations, like what are society's expectations of men and women. I guess I'll start with just what is expected from women. So kind of to piggyback from episode 4, we talked about having kids and how it is expected for a woman to have kids, be this perfect wives that stay at home or that always are in charge of the kids, take care of things at home, and not do so much for themselves, just kind of focus on their family. When men, it would be a little bit different. So for men, men are expected to, of course, be the providers of the house, to be dad that is there but not really there. It's kind of like, oh, you're co-parenting or like babysitting almost in a way. So the men are supposed to be the providers of the family, work longer, earn more money, and really help with stuff outside and not really
Yeah.
inside. So what do you think, babe? What do you think
I
that
mean,
it is expected from you?
growing up, it's always those traditional gender roles, and traditionally speaking, the man, like you said, is the breadwinner that earns more money, that brings that home, pays the bills, and handles anything physical at home, while a woman is, maybe they have a job, but it's not their like priority. The man is still always like the main breadwinner, and the woman's main value is more maternal and domestic. You
Lame.
do all the women do all the cooking and the cleaning, raising kids. You know,
All the non-fun stuff. Just kidding.
nothing that we fall into.
Well, I will say that men are looked up as the provider and women are looked up as the caretakers.
Right.
I think that to summarize it all, that's really what we kind of come down to. So things are a little bit different now. We have experienced it firsthand, talking with your grandmother and talking with even my mom, and just noticing that their expectations of our lives are so different.
Yeah.
So different. And a bit unrealistic, to be completely honest, based on how life is nowadays, what are our obstacles compared to what people our age had back when we were younger, back in the 90s, even early 2000s. Like things have changed so much in the past few decades. We both have kind of experienced that and learned firsthand, really, what is that we're supposed to be doing, but also we're not doing, nor we want to be doing. To start off, like I think one of our first interactions when we first started dating was with your grandmother, who we love dearly. I absolutely adore her. She's so funny. I she's a very interesting lady. But I remember when I first met her, or at least early on, the first few times that we saw each other in person, and we went over to her house. Of course, she had food, she made dinner, And as usual, as every grandma out in the world, or at least good grandmas out in the world, will just try to feed you all the time. We were still very on our dating stages, and I remember going to her house, and I was so scared because
She's a tough cookie.
she
Yeah.
is. I knew that I wasn't like the traditional Hispanic girl that will just kind of come into
Kind
a
of
family and be
serve
like,
to the men.
yeah, like no. I was like, oh my god, I'm about to disappoint this family so bad. I played it off really well, though. I'm not gonna lie.
You
But
know.
one thing I do remember, it was this specific interaction. She made food, like I said, and she saw you serving me, and she
Yeah.
got upset because you were prepping me a plate, and I was not prepping you a plate.
Because you know how she serves. She serves like these giant mountains of food. So I was like, I'm gonna just do it myself. And I asked you, I was like, babe, do you want something? I remember her looking at me and then looking at you. And it was after after we ate and everything, she was just like, so why were you serving her? Or I think she made a comment to you, like, why aren't you serving him?
Yeah, and I'm like, it's no longer that those times that is no longer what is required or what is even expected, really at this point. So yeah, I do remember that, and then ever since she's gotten better. She's
She
gotten
has.
much better, but she still says her comments here and there of like clean, wash the dishes, and do the chores.
Yeah.
And when she calls and sometimes she's like, "Oh, are you guys eating? What did Karen cook?" I'm like, "Uber Eats."
Uber Eats. Yeah. What you mean? Pho and sushi?
I was like, "I don't cook." So those are the things that are very different about me as a woman, or would really what is expected from women, especially Hispanic women, and which goes very, very deep and into like some crazy expectations and roles. Like it gets a little bit crazy. But those are things. One of the things that I don't do. Definitely, I don't cook. I'm not. I'm not really a fan of cooking for many reasons. First, I didn't really have anyone to teach me how to cook. So growing up was always we always had someone that will make us food or we will eat like frozen meals. Like it wasn't there was no like cooking time or family dinner time unless it was like a special holiday or a special occasion. So they didn't really have the time nor a person or like a role model to really teach me how to cook. So yeah, that's why I will say I will blame me not cooking to that.
I mean, I can't cook myself either. I know little things here and there. I've tried, experimented, and say so have you. But grandma was the only one that actually cooked. My mom and my father were both full time workers. Most of the time we were in school. By the time we got home, grandma already had food made. That we didn't see the process, or we never got taught how to
Yeah,
do
like we
anything.
just were never part of it.
Right.
And that also just shows how like really like our grandparent generation still held on to those traditional roles very deeply and still embraced them, and how really when we came to our parents, that generation things are starting to fade away of like the woman now will have a job, the woman now will not stay home with the kids will have to go into childcare. So things started changing, and of course, then it came our generation where things really change. Not only because we have so much more like access to things with internet and like technology and so many other resources, but also because COVID happened. Like we experienced COVID, we kind of hit us and be like,
It almost
rethink your life.
it almost forced parents and stuff and people to just be home and be more involved as a family versus in the it was everybody was in their own world just focused on work, especially
Yeah,
like dads. There was an article I was reading that about 14% of dads after during COVID and they lost their job or whatever, they would actually prefer to stay home with their kids because they realized how much they were missing out on their kids' life.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, when it comes to parenting, it is expected for the woman to do most of it. The dad is supposed to kind of be in the background, or like be the one that will discipline or anything like that. But it was always expected for mom to be part of the picture more, and then dad to just appear when he's needed, end quote. And like that that also makes it so easy for dads, for men, to just simply abandon their kids than for women to abandon the kids. Just an observation of like it is expected so much more from women to really take care of their kids and just do all the work when it comes to parenting, or most of the work when it comes to parenting,
Hmm.
and for the men to just kind of be there, I don't know, giving money. So yeah, so we covered a lot of things change. So not only did us like young people realize that shit, like things can get scary really quickly. We can go from having full freedom and socializing and being in a room full of people and not really worry about germs, you can say, to being stuck at home, having to wear all this like PPE, wearing a mask, wearing gloves. Some people, of course, took it to another extreme, but that really like woke a lot of people up and like changed a lot of things, a lot of like expectations, a lot of the expectations that previously were a thing or no longer a thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, men are now staying at home, which is my goal to you. My goal to you, babe, is for me to just make enough money and have you stay at home.
Oh, dang.
Like I think that would be awesome. I would love to do that. And I wouldn't like I wouldn't mind that. I'd be like, yeah, I'll make all the money. But I will love to, however, wake up and like have like breakfast made. There's so many videos now all over TikTok, all over like Facebook, Instagram of like how these stay at home boyfriends, husbands, even dads kind of share their daily life and how the roles have reversed. How pretty much the man would be the one taking care of the kids, would be the one taking care of the food, the groceries, the cleaning, while the woman just goes out and earns money. So that I think that would be so cool. I would love to have that for us. I would
Hmm.
love to just have you stay at home and take care of the dogs. Like
I
I
think I
think
make
that'd
a
be awesome.
we had a small preview of that. I made a better house husband than you made a better
Oh,
housewife.
100%,
Yeah.
110%. I definitely agree. And to support that, like also ever since the 1990s, I would like I think it was on the same article maybe or an article we were both reading.
Hmm.
So ever since the 1990s, like women have surpassed the number of men that that go to college and actually graduate. So women have
Yep.
been just taking care of their career more, taking care of themselves more, really wanting to have more in life. And
Yeah. If I
y-
tell you, it's from Forbes again. Since the 1990s, women have surpassed the men in receiving bachelor degrees each year. The number of women pursuing higher education continually increased over the last 40 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went to college and I was lucky enough to figure out exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I'm very grateful in that. It's not an easy career at the end of the day. I mean, I am a veterinary technician slash nurse.
It's a tough
Um,
job.
yeah, I mean, it sucks at times, but I love it. It is something I'm very passionate about, and I was lucky to really figure that out. So, I mean, I went to college. I love it. I don't think I'll be a millionaire. I'm sorry, babe. But I will try my hardest to get there one day.
That's okay.
But unfortunately, it's just like is not a very easy like field to make a lot of money on. It takes a lot of time, or it takes even like pursuing more education, pursuing different like I will say different path within the same field, the veterinary field. But yeah, I mean, I went to college. I loved it. I really do enjoy learning. Now, the whole program for that I did for becoming veterinary technician, I did not love that. That was not fun. I will never do that again in my life, even if someone pays me like for millions of dollars for me to just be set in life. Like it was not fun. But at the end of the day, like just like many women nowadays, like I wanted more. I wanted more than just finding a man that will make a lot of money and then provide for me. Like I want to be fully independent, like be able to own my own place, be able to like
Pay
have
your own
my own car.
bills.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, just have my stuff, have things under my name. Like, I wanted that. Now, at the end, we did end up growing up together, pretty
Right.
much like adulting together, which it really made me realize how many things I did not know, and vice versa. So I think at the end, I mean, I'm very happy with the way that we turned out. But yeah, I mean, those are my expectations since I was a young girl. Is I wanted to go to college, I wanted to get a career, I wanted to make money, at least enough money for me to be financially stable and not depend on anyone.
I
I
mean,
don't want it to depend on no man.
I know. And you remember when we met, it was I had that traditional mindset.
Oh
Remember,
my
I
god.
wanted to do everything for you. I wanted to get you your stuff, get you whatever. I said, I'm going to, get a job where you're not going to have to work. You'll be able to stay home, and
I was like, no.
super against it. You're
And
like,
I was
no.
like, no, I don't get me wrong. I am a homebody. I love being home. I just love just kind of being in my own space. I love my solitude. However, I I'm not a housewife. Like, I don't want to stay home and clean. I don't want to stay home and fold your laundry. I don't want to stay home and cook. We already established that. But those are things that I don't want to do. I want to stay home on my day off and do absolutely nothing while still holding a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I've always considered myself a very hardworking person. Like, it got to a point where I was the provider in our relationship.
That was that time that I said that
Yeah.
we found out that I was a better stay at home dad than,
Yeah, but still, like, that, how many couples can say that?
yeah, no, not many.
So I love that. And at the end of the day, I do love that now into our marriage, our relationship, like living together, there are no roles. Like,
No, I mean, we
we kind
both,
of do a little bit of everything.
yeah, for those that, I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, my wife does this and this, and I just do this. And I'm like, no, I I like to do my own laundry. You like to do your own laundry. We split the dishes. You empty the dishwasher, and I load the dishwasher if you count that as doing dishes. A lot of people don't count that as doing
I
dishes.
count it.
When I met you, it was, we're doing this by hand, and you're like, no. Have you heard of the dishwasher? I'm like, no. In my household, the dishwasher was used as an extra cabinet.
Oh, no, no, no,
It
no.
just held all the Tupperware and the cook and the
Oh my
cooking
God.
supplies.
No. I'm like, work smarter, not harder. So, yeah, I introduce you to appliances.
Appliance.
But yeah, no, when we first met, yeah, I kind of had to reset your mindset a little bit on that aspect of
Hmm.
I love you as my protector. I do love the fact that I have you to take care of me and, protect me. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, I will definitely fight somebody, but will I win? That's just really the
Doubt,
question. So that's what,
doubt it.
I have you.
Maybe you can do a pull up.
I mean, that I will definitely cause some damage, 110%. But will I end up passed out, like maybe in the ER? Definitely. But I mean, I do love the idea of having you as like the person that takes care of me. However, at the same time, I like to provide that for you.
Right.
Like, I would like to be the person that takes care of you, that doesn't really let anybody walk all over you. Like, if you don't stand up for yourself, best believe that I'm gonna do it. And I do enjoy that. Like, I like having that platform, almost, you can say, or that
I
role.
mean, it's true. When we met, I was I was almost like taken advantage of. I was a big yes man. I said yes to
Yes.
everything, to everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and you helped me. Man, if you don't want to do it, then don't. Like, you know, stick up for yourself.
Yeah. Just
I was always trying to make everybody happy,
yeah.
and now
Mm-mm.
I
If
could
you
care less.
if you as a person think about how you are, and if you find yourself constantly going out of your way to make other people happy, and that is resulting from you being like a miserable person, like you are being stretched out straight, like way too thin, you are exhausted, tired, mentally and physically drained. That's not good. Like, that's
No,
not a healthy way of living life. So you have to say no
it's
sometimes.
okay to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So But yeah, that's something that we had to learn. And same thing when it came to like living together. We have to learn. It was like I'm not like your traditional woman that loves. First
Right.
off, I don't love color. We know that. I wear
She was just
black.
complaining to me about these colors, by the way.
Well, I don't like color. I don't like for people to see me as like, oh, like so girly. Like, no. When ever since I was a little girl, I hated the color pink. Hated it. I did not like pink. I always wanted to go with the opposite, which was blue. Always. I really don't remember also like playing too much with dolls, or you can say like what would you consider like babies and stuff. Like I didn't really do that. I was mostly in like my own little creative world. I love painting. I was very crafty. No, not so much anymore, but it is what it is. And now I'm an adult, supposedly.
Retweet.
but like I always wanted to be different. Like I didn't want to fit into the typical like girl stereotype.
Right.
So yeah, like living together was a thing of like, no, we're gonna do things a little bit different. Like things are gonna be uh pretty much, we're gonna have to find like a middle ground, which we did, because
Hmm.
it took us a while to really understand what each of us was able to do without overstepping boundaries. So finding that like middle ground, that just happy commitment was great. So now we are very different than most people. Uh,
Yeah, it was a lot of trial and error, but
yeah,
I mean, we found. I think we found our our happy place or our comfy spot, whatever you
yeah.
want to call it.
I mean, people see you, first off, anyone that meets you with like my coworkers, my friends, like people that don't know you, and when they meet you, like absolutely love you. Especially like my coworkers. Everywhere I've worked at, you've always been like the perfect partner, you can say. Like if I will forget my food, let's say like I went to work, I forgot my food, like you always make sure that you will take me food, you will order me food, you make sure that I was okay.
Hmm.
You
You're
always,
having a rough day. You're tired. I show up with some coffee.
yeah.
I work from home. I
Well,
have the luxury. Even before I worked from home, I
exactly, you've always done it.
yeah.
You've always been a caretaker to me. And a lot of people like find that very like odd, or like, oh my god, Kevin does all these things for you, and like, what, you don't have to like baby Kevin and take care of him all the time and do this and do that. I'm like, no, we are at the end two adults. We should both be able to be like productive human beings in
Take
our
care of each other and
household.
take care of ourselves.
Yeah. So
It,
I pretty much like realized that, like, with every place I work, when they meet you, they absolutely adore you because you're different. You're not like the typical man that is all sexist and things like, oh, I'm like better than women, and like I'm supposed to be, this big. I don't know how to
macho
explain it.
man.
Yeah,
Like this,
yeah,
the word that's thrown around lately, like this toxic masculinity
yes,
person, which I mean, toxic masculinity or being masculine does not mean degrading women. It's having a mutual respect for each
exactly.
other.
And the same thing with feminism. I I mean, I do love the fact that women are now being able to do more. Like we're able to now, vote, go to college, have careers. We're still fighting for a few things, but feminism doesn't mean like we hate men. Feminism doesn't mean that women are better than men. It's just meaning that women are better than what society expects from us. Like we're better. We're more than just mothers. We're more than just housewives. We're more than just like a caretaker. Like we're way past that. So same thing is like, it's like as a feminist, we just want to be treated with respect. Just want to have that mutual respect. Men feel like they are born with respect. Like everybody should respect them no matter what. But then women have to work way hard, way like 10 times harder, really, for them to earn respect, not only at home,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, if you really, most family, if you really ask like the kids, they're always going to be like, oh no, dad, like, he makes the final decisions. Like dad is the one
Go ask
that,
your father.
yeah, like dad is the one that says whatever he says goes. So like that's stupid.
I mean, even from a personal standpoint, I know you didn't want me to bring anybody, but my parents, my mother's like that. I love you,
Oh,
mom, if you're listening
oh
to this, but
yeah.
I, you're women, mom, you're strong enough to make decisions on your own. It doesn't, you guys can have a conversation with your husbands and your significant others. It could be a mutual agreement, but you don't have to
Or agree to disagree.
agree to
Like you
disagree.
and I don't agree on everything.
Nope.
We're not even gonna get into that.
Yeah, that's a harsh topic.
But yeah, we don't agree with everything. We at the end have learned,
Mm-hmm.
especially mostly me, have learned to respect each other's opinions and just try to understand
Yeah.
them. Um, so yeah, like that's just, I don't know. That's just weird. Like I can't ever imagine living a life where you as the men are supposed to like run the household and
But
whatever.
it also falls down to, kind of for those people that have not only the traditional values but their religious
Oh
backgrounds. It's
yes,
that, takes part of their life. That's what they, structure their life to. So
100%.
you ask my mom who comes first. Her friend asked her. My mom said, God, husband, then children. Even her friend, who is also goes to the same church, was like, no, 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 it should be your children first.
Which I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, if it's just you and your partner, great. Your partner
Right.
should come first no matter
100%.
what. That is protecting so much more than just your partner. That's protecting your peace. That's protecting your household, your harmony. There's so much more than just, you can say, a relationship. Now, when you have kids, I 110% agree that your kids should come first.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, just like I've said before, however, not everybody is supposed to be a parent. So not everybody thinks that way. But I think that kids, like think about it, as a kid, you don't ask to be born. You don't ask to be part of this life. You didn't ask to have your mom, put their like husband first. Like it's not fair. Like your
Mm-hmm.
kids are they're supposed to be, dependent on you. Like without you, they're nothing. They will never be able to
No.
grow and be like, you know,
Yeah.
you can say like good human beings. So I totally agree. I
Yeah.
feel like
I'm not saying we're ever gonna have a kid, but if we ever had a kid, I would use you as a human shield.
okay, okay. Who said that?
um, someone said that. That's why I said it. It was Ryan Reynolds. Ryan
Yes, I was
Reynolds
like,
said
I'm
that.
not good with names.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did say that. But yeah, so definitely things change when kids come into place. However, if, for example, like if we were to have kids, which is not happening, things will be very different.
Right.
Like there's no way in hell that I would just let you have an easy ride through parenthood. Hell no. I will make you work so hard. Like if as a woman, first off, we carry like this little endoparasites that grow to be a few pounds. Then push that out of our body, go through so much pain. Some of us almost die. Some of us even die. Like really, like it's a very tough situation. Like it's a very tough process. Let's put it that way. And then men are just supposed to be like, oh no, I'm not getting up at 2 a.m. because the baby's crying. It's your baby. Go ahead and clean the baby. Go
Uh,
see what he wants. Like that, no. No, no, no. Like you will learn how to braid hair if it's a like let's say we had a girl. Like you will learn how to do like all this
I kind of
weird
know what you
ponytails.
mean. I'm not good at it, but I know.
Well, there's no really reason for you to
I
know.
know your hair's curly, anyways.
I don't. You were never gonna touch my hair.
Weird fact though. I kind of find it soothing straightening her hair. In the past, I used to straighten her hair.
Oh my god, yes.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I liked it. I just did. It was kind of like a satisfying feeling because your hair's so curly, and I would just see it become straight. I'm like, and it would stay. I'm like, whoa! It just fascinated me. I guess the guy thing, little
Was
things that like.
that was nice. You know how many guys can say that they have done their girlfriend's hair? Not many.
Not many.
So and I love that. Like that is a very, very opposite of what's expected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so men just, in my opinion, they have it easier. So, fun fact, I don't know the details, but I have actually heard about this a lot. There was a woman. She had a lot of masculine features already, and she wanted to experience life as a man. So she did not have a sex change or anything. And I'm sure most of you, even if you have not heard it, well, now you're hearing it. But this is a pretty famous story. So there's a woman. She, like I said, she had a lot of masculine features. She wanted to experience life as a man. She went ahead and cut her hair, dressed like a man, stayed a woman. She stayed a woman biologically, but just looked like a man. She even had like a deeper voice. And she did that for like a year or two. This woman was so traumatized by the way that society treats men compared to women. She ended up killing herself after that.
What?
She ended up killing herself because she said that women were treated so badly by society
Men?
compared to women,
Oh, okay.
compared to men, because she was playing a man.
Okay.
As a man, she was able to do so much more. People respected her. People like didn't, defy her as much. As a woman, she had no word. She didn't really have an opinion. Yeah, she ended up killing herself. It was that traumatizing for her.
That's strange because I've also seen videos and read stuff where it's I've seen them both. I've seen the ones that you've talked about, and I've seen some that where they talk about how men they're supposed to almost hide their feelings. They take in a lot
Mm-hmm.
more than they show, and it's almost a man's responsibility to not let their significant other into that chaos that they're almost holding up inside.
You're right, yeah.
And that's why there's also such a there's I think the suicide rate is higher for men than for women.
It is. It's higher for men, I think, in their 30s and
Mm-hmm.
40s. And it's just from all that pressure from society of like,
Those
men are
stand
supposed to have it together. Men are
exactly.
supposed to have it figured out. And if they don't, that means they failed. So yeah, no, you are completely right. So it is hard. I would say it's hard. There's not a one gender like better than the other one.
No, it's hard for both sides, and then they
Just in
all
different
they all have
aspects.
pros and cons to each. Yeah, like you said, yeah, different aspects. That's what I was
Yeah.
looking for.
Like one thing I love about you, and a lot of people can agree, is that you're a very sensitive person. You're very I wouldn't say it that way,
I know.
but you're just like you don't hide your emotions. And I always say, like, embrace it. If one day you feel sad, and you just feel sad, like there's nothing in the day or around you that can cheer you up.
And there's
And
days I wake up and I choose violence.
true. Those are most of my days.
Exactly.
No, but like if there's some days that you're just feeling sad, feel sad, embrace it. You know, just don't, of course, don't do it on a regular basis. You still need to take care of yourself, put yourself first. But like embrace your emotions. If you feel sad, if you feel happy, if you feel stressed, like so many things that happen in our lives that contribute to how we're feeling. And sometimes you just can't change that. And all you got to do is just kind of live through it. So I do love the fact that you're a little bit more sensitive than I would say the most men. I love that you get to share a lot more with me. Like I look into my past relationships, but by the way, I was a teenager. It's not like they were very meaningful, but
Same.
it was so hard. I remember as a teenager to connect with like my exes in like that deeper level of like getting comfortable talking about things that you really don't usually talk about,
The
things that are
feeling.
controversial. Yeah, your feelings, like your opinions, what you think. Is very hard. It was very hard. With you, it's super simple, super easy, and sometimes you're even like, "Whoa, you're a little bit too intense. Bring it down."
I'm like, chill, homie.
True, but yeah, those are like that's what is different about you as how you are and what's expected. And now me, I mean, I will say I'm a very passionate person, but then again, I'm not like your typical women, your
Mm.
typical like 20-year-olds, something. girl.
I don't think it's. I don't know if it's because of the way I was raised or not. I mean, my parents split when I was like 8, I think.
Yeah, you were
And
young.
yeah, my father was always, I mean, he was a hard worker. He went to school, and my mom was still also a full-time worker, but I can't really pin why. Like, is it my grandmother? My grandma had traditional standpoints.
I
It,
feel like when it comes to your life, your family is surrounded by strong women so much. Like let's look at your mom for example. Yeah,
mm,
I mean going through a divorce first off is not easy. It's never easy, and especially doing it with kids along. It's not easy. And your mom had to be that strong person that just kind of had to had it all together. And then you know you got to see that from your mom, then you got to see it from your grandma, you got to see it from your aunt, although your aunt is literally the epitome of a housewife. But
but
she's a strong
she's a
woman.
strong
She's
woman. Yes,
opinionated.
yes,
She shares her thoughts, and that's a very beautiful
yeah.
thing to have in a family. Is like women have
Oh
a
yeah.
platform, and
And I
coming,
see it. I see it between her and my uncle. Like they respect each other. It's
it's a
just
beautiful
she
thing.
did
It's a
it for her
beautiful
kids.
balance.
She wanted to focus her life on her kids.
And then when it comes to me, which is so different than how you grew up, my family is mostly it's consisted mostly of single mothers, single mothers who have been screwed up by men, who have gotten them pregnant and just not taking care of the kids. So in my family, like women did not have another choice. Their only choice was to just be a badass woman in general. That is something that I always say, that although my upbringings were a little bit different than most people, and I guess some people can definitely relate to that. Women were always like, we will figure it out. We will figure it out. We don't need a man by our side. Like my mom, who is in El Salvador, I love her to death. She is the sweetest, most caring person. Even like she's more emotional than you, babe. And you
I
know it. Like
do.
she's the kindest person you will ever
I
meet.
love her.
Like she sees nothing wrong in people. She's always about like forgive everybody, and I'm over here like, no, I choose violence. Like
Yeah.
that's I wake up and I choose violence, and she's like, but why? But she's just the best. And I look at her, and she was, like I said, there's some generations that just have defied the odds and defied those expectations. She was the only one in her family that went to college. She's like, I want to have a career. I want to have a career. She's a teacher. I hope she retires soon because it's hard. It's a hard job. But she's like, I want to have a career, and she went to college. She graduated. She she has a great job. She loves her career, and I look up to her so much. And that's really like one of the reasons why I'm like, I do not need a man that will pay for all of my stuff. I don't care how much money you make.
What do you say, baby? You're a what?
I am an independent Latina woman.
Yeah.
But but yeah, like I learned so much from her. Like I would say she, as a woman, she was a great role model. She always is and will ever be the person I look up to the most. She taught me to take care of myself first. She taught me to always try to be successful to be the best version of myself, and really to not let anyone tell me otherwise. And I do appreciate that so much because although my family is filled with strong women, everybody has their flaws, and still having that like Hispanic mentality of like, you need to find a man that will just pay for your stuff, and then that way your life will be so much easier if you just have a man that will provide for you. And it wasn't much on like, you need to have kids. That wasn't really stressed upon me a lot, but it was more on like, find a man that will provide for you. Find a man that will take care of you financially. Like that was the ultimate goal of life. And I'm like, no, no, no.
It was find a man that could take care of you financially and find a man that could take care of you plus me.
And the family. Yeah,
And
exactly.
the rest of
And
the
the family.
family.
And it was always like, find a rich man. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I am my own rich man. I want to be the person that pays for my bills,
I'm
that
here trying
pays
to
for
find
my
a sugar
stuff.
mama.
I'm still trying to be your sugar mama. But like those are the things that is very different. And there are people in our generations that still have the mentality of like, oh, I want to make money and have a wife that will take care of me. And then the women that are like, oh, I want to have a man that will take care of me and I'll just stay at home and do nothing and just have kids left and right and take care of the household. Yes, there's still going to be people like that. There's definitely going to be people like that.
Right.
But you get the change from, previous generations to where we are now is so, so significant. Like nowadays, there are less women giving birth than it was 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
30 years ago, and so on. Like women are no longer wanting to give birth. They're focusing on their careers. Just like we said, more women are going to school, trying to get their bachelor's, trying to have a career. And kids are now part of that equation, and that's okay. Women are now trying to find a life partner, not a provider. We are not trying to find someone that will just do everything for us financially and then all we got to do is serve them. It's no longer that way. We want to find, and I'm sure that men, just like you, want to find that person that will complement them, that person that will not feel like a burden. It will
Right.
feel
I'm
more
not.
like a partner.
Right. Exactly. I'm not trying to. I joke around that sugar mama. No, but I'm trying to find someone that I can be equals, almost equals with. I don't like the idea of having almost I don't want to use the words as slave, but someone underneath me that is gonna take care of
Yeah.
me. I don't like that.
And that, I mean, I don't
That's why I
honestly.
married you.
Exactly. I was like, honestly, if you were to like that, you and I would have never worked. But yeah, I mean, I love the fact that we're that different. We're
Going
different.
back to what you said about the babies, I looked it up. I mean, the birth rate in the U.S. has gone up every year, very very slightly, 0.09%, but the births per person has gone down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's definitely.
There are people that are
I
having more
first off,
babies than they should.
yes, I've met a woman who just had her eighth baby, and
Oh dang!
yes, and the way that it was very disturbing, and sometimes I can't really control my face. I can sometimes control what I say and how I say it, but not my facial expressions. The man literally said that she still had 3 years, 3 good years in her, like in her
Three birthing years.
3 birthing years to still continue to have kids because that's what's expected from her. And she's just popping kids
That's some
like it's nothing.
that's some what's it called, Dwight Schrute mentality. She got good birthing hips still.
That is on Handmaid's Tale stuff.
Oh,
Oh
blessed
my
be the
God.
fruit.
May the Lord open. But yeah, like I'm like, oh my God. Like that's weird. So yes, although birth rate has gone up, also COVID happened. So if you know couples or like if you know couples or married couples, you know that they were pregnant during the whole quarantine situation and then had their babies. That's why they're called quarantine babies.
COVID babies.
COVID babies. But yeah, like there's some women that love having kids.
Yeah.
Love it. And great for you. Awesome. At the end, it's not just about having kids, it's about always providing a safe and healthy space for them to grow and become like good human beings.
Right.
But this, putting that aside, there's women that are having kids left and right. I mean, everyone knows a woman that has used way too many kids for their financial situation. Everyone knows, and that woman does not care. And like, I bet you, for most of you that know someone like that, they're right now still like they're pregnant again.
Again, it comes down to also how our government or society, how whatever you want to say, it's almost broken because they like
Oh, it's
depend.
very broken.
Yeah, it's broken. Do you know what I'm trying to say? The income that people make versus the amount of children they get free money.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an incentive to have more kids.
Well, a lot of people call it like cheating.
Cheating the system.
Yeah, cheating the system. However, that's really not the case. Imagine if you have a lot of kids and you think, oh, great. I get all this tax in return. I get all these perks and all this help from the government. Fine, good for you. But think about those kids. Are those kids like, you know,
No,
are those kids like projected to have a great future? Are
no.
those kids projected to be great people like in their
Statistically,
lives?
no.
Exactly. So it's not, some people look at it was like, oh, that's a great way to kind of go around and like having a reason to have kids. But that's a very selfish thing to think about, because then those kids are not like, they're not set for success. They're just set
Right.
to follow the same stereotypes as their parents, to be like a single mother, no financial stability, to be a dad that is not there. So yeah, people are still gonna have kids, but there's still less people having babies because there's just more to just having babies.
Mm-hmm.
So like things are changing a lot, and I enjoy the idea that the fact that we are not following those traditional roles. We're just trying to be our own person. We're being a little bit selfish, but just in the right way. We're
Right.
not we're not putting other people down, such as kids, life partners, family,
No,
in the
we
process.
respect anybody that does it, and great for them. It's just a well, that's what we want to like. That's our way of doing the way our life and what we choose to do,
Yeah.
and we just want to make it, clear that it's nothing. We're not trying to do anything wrong. We're not trying to, bash anybody that goes for the
Traditional.
traditional ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we want to show why and
There are
our
other
views.
ways.
Yeah, there
There
are
are
other
other
ways.
ways.
We
Like
don't
there
need to follow these traditional ways to be happy.
exactly. Like there's more than one path.
Yeah.
And especially now, I mean, if you think about it, we have so many resources. We have so many, just so much of everything in
Mm-hmm.
general. Like, let's just think about it. Could our parents do what we're doing right now?
No.
No, not as easy as we are doing it. So, we also are experiencing life a little bit different, a lot different. Like, there are things that we're frowned upon that are no longer frowned upon. And women are having more rights. Women are fighting more. Women are no longer expected to be quiet and be like this obedient, I guess, person in the household. Like that's no longer the norm. So things are definitely changing, and I do love the fact that we are part of that change. That we are not like falling into those categories of like, oh, you're a traditional couple. You first met, before you started living together, you got married, you're doing everything, the right way.
By the books.
There's no such thing as the right way. You go through life the way you want to go through life. Be happy, do what makes you happy. Just don't hurt others in the process.
Right.
Take care of yourself always and embrace who you are, but do not bring other people down just because in the way that you think, you're thinking like, oh, I want to be this awesome person. Like there's a wrong and right way of doing things. So I do enjoy the fact that we are not a traditional couple. We're different. I mean, I wear black. Like
We're
I am
us.
the epitome of different.
Exactly. We're us. We are KB because we're both Karen Beltran and Kevin Beltran. We are our own unity, our own person.
Yeah. Well, fun fact,
Mm-hmm.
which is really interesting now that you mention our last names. I actually met a couple who made up their own last name. How cool would that be? But yeah, so it's always fun. I mean, to share with you guys what we think and talk about all of this controversial, kind of not controversial stuff. But it's always fun to just share this moment with you, babe, and just kind of get thoughts out there.
Yeah, this was very fun. I enjoyed our topic today as well. Um, I think I don't know how you feel about it, but we might want to start maybe inviting anybody who would want to join this conversation here.
Well, we have had a lot of people show interest,
We have had people show
so
interest.
we're not against it. At the end of the day, yes, you and I are very different, but also still very similar. So
Yeah.
having like a third party that will defy that
I think
will
it'd be
be very
fun.
interesting.
Yeah, it'd be, we can discuss, and it'd be good for everybody to see how different we are from people we know.
Yeah, and then how similar we might be too.
That too.
Because at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is just like I said, live our life, be happy, and sometimes some other people are trying to do just the same.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys, for joining us on KB Talk. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Karen.
Please give us a like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, and then just let us know what you think about us, and really what is a way that you are breaking the norm in your household or in your family or in your generation. Let us know. We'll love to know and see how other people are also living their lives.
Please leave us a comment. Bye.
Bye.